well, you know, this is the new year 2020. This time we're gonna have my guest on because that's great.
But I mean, we're only like 2 weeks in, 1 week in. I don't know.
That doesn't matter. You know what? Whatever. Just cue the intro.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's T.L.B.P Brothers Podcast, also known as T.L.B.P. I'm Victor.
And I'm Adrian.
And as I said, we have my guest this time. So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Nathaniel, or am I on as Nathaniel or Outlaw? Which one am I here as?
Or
am I here as both?
Okay, look, we were going to explain that.
Yeah, we should explain
but
that.
maybe we should explain that.
Yeah, we're going to explain this. So...
you can explain.
Yeah,
I don't know
basically our intro song. Our intro song is created by a great music producer called Outlaw. Which is actually Nathaniel here, who's sitting here. We nickname Nate. If you want to call him that. I don't know if you're
his Spotify is linked in the description of every episode from this moment forward. No, I'm kidding. It's been linked since the first episode of season 2, which, to be honest, I haven't been advertising about whatsoever. Yeah. But here we are.
I only really advertise during music class.
Oh, 100%.
And
I don't even know if it's advertising because it's basically everyone else going, Victor, you have a podcast, right? It's like, oh yeah, I do. And then that's advertising.
Okay, look, so the other day we were looking for a hard drive. We were going around. We went to Best Buy. You know what he was doing? Well, I was talking to the guy.
Hopefully, advertising.
He was putting it on every laptop. He was opening up the tab.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
and then
that was a high five.
And then we went to Walmart. Did the same thing on the tablets.
See, did you get a spike in listeners?
I have no idea.
We didn't really check.
Hopefully,
you know what? You know why I don't notice? Because we hadn't uploaded an episode. We uploaded 2 days after. So, even if they clicked on something, it's not going to change.
If 36-year-old is now a listener to the T.L.B.P Brothers podcast, you know why?
It's ironic, my boss.
If your boss
we're
cares,
we're going to edit out the name. So no one's going to know who we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
But, so yeah. I'm supposed to ask this guy questions.
Yeah, because to give people context, what we normally do is we bring in, one of us brings in a guest, and the other brother, has to bring the questions in. Normally 3 questions.
Which I'm gonna be real with you. I haven't thought about this at all up until this.
That's normally how it goes. It's non-scripted.
But I feel like those are gonna come up with the best episodes, the best questions, it's all unscripted.
No, watch. One time we went, what's your favorite color? And then it's like that's not a question.
All right, you have 25 minutes to answer what your favorite color is.
And they'd be I want the spectrum, I want the hue, I want the RGB code. Let's go. Hexadecimal code. I'm out.
Oh, don't even get me started on hexadecimal codes.
No, so anyway, really though, so you're a year older than him?
Yeah, I'm 17.
Okay. No, this
we're gonna make a Wikipedia page for him.
Honestly,
no, I'm just joking.
Make me a Wikipedia page.
Can that be my summative? Actually,
you want to talk about the summative?
No, there was this guy who came on here and he literally started listing himself. It's so I'm so and so, single. I'm gonna sport. So I'm like, this isn't a Tinder profile.
It's just a dating ad.
But it was really funny. It was really interesting. I think I mentioned it on another episode as well, where I think I mentioned the same guy, and I think everybody knows who I'm talking about every time I mention, because it's that one episode where the guy jumps in. It's yeah, man, I'm single. I'm into sports. I'm into this. I'm into that.
Oh my god! Why am I not surprised?
But
that someone would come on here.
Yeah.
This is the T.L.B.P Brothers podcast, match made in heaven.
Match made in heaven.
Only 30 to 40 people heard this.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, it's not like he hit the masses. It's boom. I have a friend who I think I'm gonna get on here. She should blow this up. Anyway,
should. Hopefully.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Anything's a mixed bag at this point.
Yeah.
But so you do a lot of music stuff.
I do.
On Spotify. I'm just curious as to how that came about.
How music or getting it onto Spotify?
No, I mean this because I'm sure you in school you were a part of a band. You're in the music class, but how did you get into like the sides, you know, because this is like a subgenre of what you're learning. This isn't exactly what you're, unless of course, let's be real, your music teacher teaching you how to do this, which I highly doubt.
She barely teaches us music.
Because let's be real,
you
learn. Okay, look, like I'm gonna be real. I learned like 95% of the music I learned how to play or how to do. Yeah. Everything I learned basically all of music I learned off YouTube. I learned how to read music.
100%. It's the same thing with production.
Everything off YouTube. And then I got to music class in like, I think it was like grade 8, and I was like, oh, I can read music. They're like, you can read music?
Yeah.
And I was like, mind blown. I was like, wow, who taught you how to read music?
Well, it's like that with band too. It's like, in band you could learn how to like read sheet music and learn all these techniques. But at the end of the day, it's when you go home, you're going to develop your own style and how you enjoy making songs.
For sure, yeah.
So basically it all came about from just me. You know when you listen to a song and it's just like, you get that goosebump. You get goosebumps.
You get that vibe going.
Like your heart drops almost. I wanted to be able to recreate that for myself and for other people. So that's when I started just kind of like messing around with production and then starting to learn chord progressions and figuring out like how all this stuff worked. And then for fun, not even intending to publish it all, I put it like into Ableton, and then like I ordered a MIDI keyboard for like $100 off Amazon. And that gave me Ableton Lite, which like basically a super dumbed down version. It gave me like 8 tracks, and I had to fit everything I wanted to do
in 8 tracks.
Eight tracks.
That's the most limiting thing on this planet.
It's so painful. Okay. Anyway, so that basically just
have you shown him the stuff we use?
No.
Oh, you're gonna have to show me after.
We're gonna show you. This would change your life.
But so basically, my first tape that I put out on Spotify, Dead on Arrival, was made basically just using that. Is using Ableton Live Lite 8 tracks. Okay, so the theme song for this.
Okay, so look, I'm gonna be real with you. So Victor's like, oh, I have a friend who does this.
Yeah.
It's on SoundCloud, and I was like, really? So I'm like, oh, okay. And then I was like, one day I was like on the bus, and I'm like, I left it like opened in the search, and it was still there in the history. I'm like, I got nothing else to do on
That's how I get you. That's how I get you.
So I was on the bus for like, my bus ride is an hour long. Like, sometimes it's an hour and a half long when I have to go to school. So I'm like, I got an hour and a half to kill. Might as well. So I went through all of them. There you go. I came home like, Victor, he's really good. But I'm like, you know what? We're going to have him on the podcast.
I'm like, of course.
I've been waiting for this moment. I feel like I don't even need 1 million streams. I've made it on the 2 Latin Brothers podcasts.
You've made it in life.
It can just end here.
It's like, look, Mom, I made it.
This is my peak.
You know, like in our case, like, was it? I'm sure for you to get your music on was easy. Like on Spotify.
Yeah, it's fairly easy. It also it was basically me. I would always send like any beat that I was proud of to my girlfriend, basically, and then I'd send it to my girlfriend, and she'd be like, you know, these are really good, and I'd be like, okay, and then like I'd send that to another friend, I'd be like, yeah, this is sick. And like I would send them to like Brennan and show them to Steph, right, who were both on the podcast previously. So I'll send that. And I'm like,
in the archive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the archive.
And from that, I was kind of just like, why not put it out and like potentially, like I didn't do it for money, but I was like, why not make some money off it?
Yeah.
So I used DistroKid, and basically you just upload all the WAV files onto their website, and then basically you pay a certain amount a year, and then they'll just send it out. So it's on like places where you wouldn't expect. It's like on like iHeartRadio.
Yeah, it's like we're on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, like
okay. So look, so for us, it was a different story. So we're using something called Anchor.
Yeah.
To distribute our podcast, which they've been very nice to us. I talked to 3 support guys on their end already, because the first time I did, I talked with Spotify. And Spotify wasn't playing nice with us. They didn't want to put us on their thing or whatever. So I had to reach out to like Anchor, and then Anchor's like, it's not us, it's them. So then I reach out to them, and they go, oh yeah, okay. They send me an email back, and it's just back and forth.
Oh yeah, I've been there. I've been there.
And then I'm like, I think I called I got like a phone number, and I called like some office in Toronto. We like a week for that call to come back, and then the guy was like, oh, it was just like the system or whatever, like it auto like flagged it for whatever reason. He's like, we fixed it now. And he's like, it should be there. And I was like, it should be there. He's like, yeah, just go check it out.
It's like, well, you check it.
I was like,
it's like your job.
No, but I was like, it hit me like I should have at least checked it before I go. Like it was like, oh, okay, thanks, and he's like, yeah, no worries, and he hung up. I don't even know what his name was.
Oh, at least it's on there now.
I mean, and then it was there, and it's just there. But like, it was pretty funny, to be honest. It was really funny.
Yeah, basically, I put it all on Spotify, and then the thing that was like crazy is like, if you have your stuff on Spotify, I don't know if it works on the podcast tab, but for music, you can download like Spotify for artists, and basically shows you all your stats.
Yeah, I don't
know. It's like the day I released Dead on Arrival, like my first beat tape or whatever. I downloaded that app and I checked it, and I had like 8 people. It shows you who's listening. Yeah. And it had like 8 people listening at once. Yeah. And like in my head, I'm kind of like, those 8 people are feeling some type of way about my music right now at the same time. Yeah. And I was kind of like, that's cool. That's like us.
That's like us when we upload, because Anchor gives us all the stats and analytics.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I was telling him how like it even graphs it for us.
Oh, it graphs us, and it tells us like what city, what country.
Yeah, I was in like 12 countries this year. I was like, what? Like, who's listening to me in the Philippines right now?
No, like we have someone listening to us in what is it?
New Zealand, Australia, everywhere.
No, there was a country that it was Israel.
Oh yeah.
Yo, shout out to the T.L.B.P fan in Israel.
There's somebody in Israel who's listening to us. I don't know why.
Yo, shout out.
And it also it also tells us like what platform people listen to us the most on. Yeah. Logically, Spotify is the one. That's why I fought for it. Mm-hmm. But it's really interesting how like we can see all the stats and all that's so interesting. And like all the time like we'll upload, and like usually within the hour there'll be like 10 plays, like just those are like guaranteed like within the hour. And I'm like, that's crazy. You know what's even more crazy? I look at Victor, like, you know what's even more crazy? So what? It's not even on Spotify yet. Like, that's what's so crazy to me. It's like, just the fact that, like, there are 10 people who genuinely wait every Friday to hear this. And you know what the problem is? Is that my consistency in upload.
Like, wait for Friday, different and then hours. The episode never comes out.
No, it's because, like, sometimes, like, because I gotta go to work, and sometimes, like, sometimes I don't have time during lunch to hit the upload button. Also, their Wi-Fi isn't exactly the best. Like, I'll be uploading, and then halfway the Wi-Fi will just be like, I don't want to work anymore.
Sounds like public Wi-Fi.
And then the whole building will just go down. I'll be like, guys, I'm trying to upload like a 40 megabyte file. Come on.
You see people you never see when the Wi-Fi goes out.
Oh yeah.
In a public place, like people come out of like the bathroom, like,
what? No, what happened? No, I love. What is it? There's a police station downtown. The funniest thing. So there's a Wi-Fi connection for the police station. And so when people sit down, they sit down and they pull out their phone or their laptop, and they're like, typing or whatever. They're like, they try to log on to the Wi-Fi, and there's like a password, and then you'll see someone walk up to the counter. What's the Wi-Fi password? We're not allowed to give it to you. So wait, what? You guys don't have Wi-Fi here? And they go, yeah. This is the police station.
Like, so yes, we're so interested in Wi-Fi and public safety.
Yeah. And then it's like, and then they'll go sit down. They're all upset, and clearly the person sitting next to her or him or whoever it is didn't hear the prior conversation.
Oh, so then they go up.
Because they just got there too, and they walk in. They go, hey, what's the Wi-Fi? They go, we don't give out free Wi-Fi here. But what was really funny, and I think it's the greatest thing, is I had to go back to this police station because I was like trying to get like clearance for something.
Yeah. And
I got there, and the greatest thing ever. They had this wooden sign on the wall that was embossed that said, "We don't have free Wi-Fi." And I was like,
that's priceless.
I'm like, this is great. This is everything I need in my life right now.
We have reached peak humanity.
I'm like, when we don't have free Wi-Fi, this is where we're at right now. Like, society can't cope. I'm like,
how did we get here? How did we end up?
Asking officers.
I'm trying to think about how we went to police Wi-Fi. Anyway, back on topic.
This tends to happen here.
Basically, I just like kept seeing people were listening to it. I'm like, clearly, if people are listening to it, there's some form of demand for it.
Yeah.
And it's a different format, because if you're listening to listening to a song, there's obviously the lyrics, but like the majority of my stuff doesn't have lyrics.
Yeah.
And so that's why a lot of my lo-fi stuff tends to blow up.
Yeah.
Or the stuff that I sample that has lyrics.
Yeah.
Like 518. Mm-hmm. is basically my most popular song. Yeah. Because it's sad, and everyone in 2020 is sad.
Well, the context for that song.
Okay, that's later.
I'm gonna ask about this later.
Yeah. That has lyrics.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's why it's so popular. And then also Up and Away, which came out late 2019.
Yeah. When I
blew up. It's basically just a simple lo-fi track, and that's the one that blew up.
Okay, so the first time I heard that one, I was like, yo, it's a shame it's sampled.
I know.
Yeah. I was like, this is... I look at Victor, because they're just like, I need you to hear this. And as soon as I heard, like, as soon as it started, I was like...
It's up.
I was like, dang, I wish I came up with this.
Yeah.
No, because it's one of those things where I'm like, this is so simple and like so straightforward,
elegant.
Like,
just
and I was like, why didn't I come up with this?
Oh no! As soon as I heard it, I told you to upload it. And you're like, should I? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And then
you're in music.
Yeah. There are a few things. I'm gonna have to censor that out. There are a few things. There are a few things where I tell this to Victor all the time. There are a few songs that you'll hear that you're like, dang it, I wish I wrote that, because they have like that. There's just something about it that it's this nostalgia, or it takes you to another place.
Yeah.
That heart drop feeling, right? That he's talking about. There's something about it that's just so real.
Yeah.
And you're like, dang, I wish that was me.
It's the best feeling when you find a sample and you're just like, oh my god. See, this is like, I follow certain like channels on YouTube that basically just upload like stuff that you can sample into your own beats. And it's like, I found this crazy one. And I was like, man, this is sick. I like had it into like a YouTube to MP3 it already. And I checked the comments of that video. And it, like every single comment was, you were not the first one to sample this. You were not the first one to sample this. It's the most heartbreaking feeling. Because you want to get that that good sample. You want to be the first one to get it.
So maybe you should start writing your own stuff.
I have a couple.
No, I'm all about that. Like
recently I've been writing a lot more. Like, just
getting
to the piano, I'm like, oh, it sounds pretty.
There's a few times where he'll start writing something, and I'll be like, that sounds like something already.
And I'm just like,
and he'll be like, no, and I go, yeah, and then I'll play the song for him, and it's just like his intro, and he's like, nah, bro, yo, this song came out in 1983. I wasn't even alive yet. What are you doing? I was
like, it don't matter.
I was born in the wrong time. I write so many songs, and they're like so old, and I'm like,
See,
I'm like, I was big.
He's like, man, I would have been so good. I'm like, but you know what? It's already taken too late. But one of the things, like with me, the issue with me and him that bugs him is that I'm like a walking recorder. I think I mentioned it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But like, so like almost everything I hear, I remember. So any song I hear,
I can just imagine Victor playing, and then like you walking by the hallway, being like, "That's been played before."
Literally my life. I can't write anything anymore.
We share a room together, so it's more like I have my headphones on, and I'm like watching a YouTube video in my bed.
And then he just takes them
off. All of a sudden I'll take them off and be like, yo, that sound like something. Put my earphone back on. And he'd be like, from where? What?
I'm like, from where?
It's like this obscure song from 1979.
Jump on my laptop.
That's it. Like, I'm going experimental.
No, there was a song by was it which one was it? Was it by what was it? Oh, it's a beautiful by
Bazzi.
No. Oh, what's her name? She was like really famous.
She was?
Well, she still is, but she was like on you guys weren't alive for that, so you wouldn't know what that is.
Well, maybe.
She became famous the way Justin Timberlake became famous and the way Ryan Gosling became famous.
Miley Cyrus?
No.
I don't know, Disney kid?
No, there was a show way back in the day called the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse where like all these people became famous off.
Yeah.
What is her name? Christina Aguilera. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I wrote a Christina Aguilera.
Okay, so there's a yes. So
that's the clickbait title for this podcast. I wrote a Christina Aguilera song.
What? So the piano part in that song, he played the chord progression almost to the T. Like he changed like the second time going through, he went down like a minor sum. But it was like identical. And he was like, no. I'm like, that's from somewhere. And he goes, what? And it was bugging me. I'm like, I know it's from somewhere. And he goes, don't do this to me, bro. Don't do this to me. Yeah, bro, come on. And then
I'm like, it's so pretty. Don't do this to me.
And then like a day later, I go, I found it. He goes, what? No. Found the song. And I play, and he goes, no.
Well, you know Victor, always copying Christina Aguilera. It's his favorite pastime.
Yeah.
No, but it was so funny. There's so many songs like that, and even now I'll be listening to tracks.
Yeah.
And like when a musician writes a song, I jump as soon as I hear it, I'm like, he sampled that from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, or he like blatantly ripped him off. And there have been a few songs like that, like there's a few there's a few songs where like I'm like, oh, that's that song, or like, oh, that's this song, or I'm like, if I had the time, I'd make mashups of all of these songs because they all work together. Yeah. I'm like, I would be that guy who's just sitting at home, like on DJ Studio, mixing all these songs together.
DJ Studio.
Creating these crazy mashups. And everybody be like, oh man, I wish I did that.
DJ Studio. That's a wow. I haven't thought about DJ Studio.
I like how you clicked, but I bet you 95%
of definitely
people are just like, what is that?
Well, it's because before I started producing, I started DJing, which is the typical producer thing to say. No, must have been like 12, 13, and there's this thing downtown that's basically just does Blues Fest, like Blues Fest summer camps.
Yeah.
And basically it was like, you can practice DJing for a week. And then once you do that, you'll get a 30-minute set of Blues Fest. Oh, wow. And like they have like there's like the big stages, and then there's like the relaxing lounge or whatever. And basically you had 30 minutes in that booth, and I was like, this is sick. So and then like saved up for like a year and a bit, and then bought like my first like turntables or whatever, or my first controller, I guess.
Wow.
And then went from there, and then I was like, I don't know if this is for me, because that was just like, hey, I'm going to take everybody else's things and profit off it. That was in my
I had a friend who was really good at making mashups. She made a Under the Sea mashup with like some Skrillex song.
Yo,
it was crazy.
goes hard.
No, honestly, to this day, I wish I don't know what happened to that file. But I wish it were somewhere on the internet so the world could hear how amazing.
It'll get discovered eventually.
Like, it was so good. Like, I was like, it was crazy. I don't know what happened.
The YouTube recommended algorithm.
Someone in 5 years is going to find it.
Yeah. Someone's going to make it. But yeah, it was crazy. And then I remember I had a friend who he got really into DJ thing. He got like turning tables and everything. And then he got into the stock market, and he's like, I forget the studio thing.
That's a turn.
It was so big.
DJing the stock market?
Yeah. He started like, because it's like some family member of his like left him like $5,000 or something. And he was going to go to school, and he was like, do I really need school? Start investing. Like he invested like half of it. And like, that's what they say. You need like $5,000 to $2,000 of money you're okay to lose. And he's like, whatever.
Is he rich?
No, but he's still living off it.
Yeah, if he's still living off that $5,000.
I mean, you know, I also have like other friends who are like mining Bitcoin and stuff like that. But that's like a whole other thing.
But that's another topic.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Anyway, but yeah. So in my case, like I delved into the production side of music when I was like fresh out of high school, I want to say.
Yeah.
I think. Because believe it or not, high school was like 6 years ago for me.
The end of high school? The start of high school?
The start. No, I guess it's the end now.
Yeah, the
because
end.
You're going into the end soon. And we're 6 years apart. So
the end is scary.
So it's... No, it's not.
The end is scary.
No, that is... That's you messing with yourself. That's not true. It's actually really exciting.
I'm excited to get the hell out of there.
No, it's...
4 years is so long to spend somewhere. And then to only spend that like at another school.
Yeah. He's like, how dare you? How dare you say that about where I'd go for a full other year too?
Oh, buddy, you're screwed.
Talk about kicking the bucket.
Oh, you know, I'm not even out of there yet. Man, and I'm like,
he's like, I'm gone. Bye. No, I graduated.
There's a teacher. I'm sure you've heard it. I don't know if you've taken his class, but he says there's a teacher that you have. Probably you've had him, or maybe you haven't. He's a business teacher. He says that you didn't take any business courses.
Nope.
Okay, well he says
I'm not smart. You
don't need to be smart.
Literally grade 9.
I'm street smart.
Okay, so anyway, he says that when you're in your last year, you're so gone you can smell it. Smell freedom. And I was like, what does that mean? And then I told that to somebody, and there was someone else from his school who's like, oh my gosh, I remember that. He did say that. Yeah. And I was like, it's amazing. It's been 5 years and he still hasn't changed. Yeah. He's still saying the same thing. No, but...
Well, it's because you get a fresh batch of students. Same thing.
Every year you get a new batch of students.
Exactly. So.
People to mold their mind into the next future. But you know what you're molding? Anxiety, depression, and cowardice.
In capitalism?
No, in cowardice. I tell them
capital.
Yeah, so I was confused.
Like, I tell them all the time, like, we're a society full of cowards.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's I can't even deny that.
Look, it's like there are so many people like, oh, I'm gonna do this, but you know what? I have to put myself out there, and I ain't about that. And I'm like, this is an amazing idea.
I'm trying to change my brother into a go-getter.
I'm not a go-getter.
He's really not.
I'm really not.
See, my mentality.
No, like, okay, no, that's not true. Okay, so for starters, like, I haven't been like most of my life I've been pretty antisocial. Like I try, like I literally went out in the world to be a loner at one point, and then he's like, "What are you saying?"
I don't know how that works, but I respect it.
It worked out. But then like I made friends and whatnot, and clearly that didn't pan out as I had planned. Mm-hmm. But later on, I went into like I took programming before the programming now. Yeah. So like super antisocial type people, and then like that really I really went into my shell and all that stuff. But then and I've mentioned this I don't know how many times at this point now, and then I got into this program and man, everyone an extrovert, like almost everyone's an extrovert. Yeah. There are like maybe like 10 of us out of like 60 something people in each class who are not an extrovert. And we're all like in there like trembling all the time. We're like that group at the back of the class just shaking all the time because we got to go present up there. And we're like, why?
The teacher's just thinking you guys.
Why do I have to present?
They took something hard.
No, we're like out there like, why do we have to present in this class? It makes no sense. Can't I just write a paper? Like it's literally that, but it's
my mentality in life. Send it.
Literally every day.
It's like no, you can testify to that.
No, I know. I've lived it every day.
Send it. That's it.
I'm not about that.
No. Are you?
You want to do this?
You want to do this
thing
thing
in the middle of class?
Send it.
Literally gets.
Not sure if you could ask out that girl. Send it.
No, that's a coward. Why would you do it over text? See what I'm saying?
Want to ask her out over text?
It's better than not doing anything.
Send it. If that's the better option, send it.
See what I'm saying about a society full of cowards?
There you go.
They can't accept rejection. They have to do it over the phone. No, there's a lot of stuff like that. We're already like halfway through this.
Crap. Gosh darn it. I'm a good Christian child, I swear.
This is a Minecraft. Never mind. I can't even.
This isn't a server. Okay, so, what was I gonna say? I've only asked you one question. What was that song we were talking about earlier? I can't
518.
Yeah, 518.
Up and away. I don't know.
No, it was 518. Why is that song so popular? Why do you think?
Story time. I think the main reason it's popular is because it's like the one. I think a lot of my listeners, if you will, the 11 monthly listeners I have on Spotify, shout out. The 11 that like they listen to me not for my, they like listen to it because like, oh, that's Nathaniel. Yeah. And then they'll play that one because it's the only one with lyrics and you're actually able to sing along to it. The story behind that song is I had gone over to my girlfriend's house during the day and we broke up, and then I went to work and I was just like a mess. I was just like on my break, I was just like in the bathroom, just like it's just like
you gotta make it to the day.
It's like I have to deal with this chick trying to get 50% off milk right now. And so then I went.
So you work at a grocery store.
Yeah, basically. And so then I went home. It must have been like 10:30, and I was just like listening to XXX Tentacion, and so like he samples this guy named like Shiloh Dynasty, and I was like, man, this is the vibe right now. So it's like I looked up a bunch of his stuff, and I found this sample that I really liked, and I was like, I'm gonna make this a song. And basically, from that point to the time that song was finished, it's just like blackout. I barely remember any of it because I was just in the zone. Just made it nonstop for like 2.5, 3 hours.
You know what's crazy? Some of the greatest songs.
Oh yeah.
Were written in a span of like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I always question how. You know, like, because to be honest, to even
pick me 10 minutes because I'm not a professional.
To write another Christina Aguilera song.
Exactly. No, but what's so interesting is like literally I'm like within those 5 minutes, all I did was choose the chord progression. Oh. You know, like it's just it's like he always goes like, what chord progression? And I just to myself I want G sharp. He go, G sharp don't exist. I'm like, figure it out.
There you go. Make it diminished and just fit it in somewhere.
No, it's really funny. He'll be playing with chords. I'm like, make it a 7th, and I'll just walk away. He'd be like,
that's what I do all the time. Victor will be playing piano in class, and I'll be like, make it jazzier. I'll be like, what? And I'm like, make it a ninth.
And I'm just like, fine.
No, when it's the other day, he's like, give me a chord, and I'm like,
no, I say, give me a key.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, and I go like, no, you asked for a chord, and I'm like it's like a A flat sus4 some like crazy thing, and he's like on the guitar, and he's like, I don't even know how to play that.
I hate doing that. It's like I'll have an idea for a chord, I'll be like, oh, this is sick, and then I realize I'm on guitar, and I'm like, how do you bar this? 518 basically stemmed from that.
Okay, so learn how to play triads on the guitar. It'll change your life.
Yeah, I should. I feel like I should.
Yeah.
I can basically I can play guitar fine, but like
learn how to play triads on the guitar, and I kid you not, it will change your life. It will change everything.
That's what's
Do you know why?
Next. Outlaw 2020 triads on guitar.
No, the reason is because if you like pick the strings, or instead of strum, a triad, it's literally the formula. I shouldn't even be saying this.
Don't.
This
is an after thing.
We'll say it after because this is too good of a secret.
Don't expose the secret. All right, now I'm getting in on some. Now I'm in the circle. The inner circle.
You're in the T.L.B.P.
This is
the secret zone.
This is honestly something that I learned. I don't know. How long have I been doing music for?
I don't know.
A minute.
A minute.
I mean, it's been longer than a minute. I'm gonna tell you that.
What? 8 years? 7 years?
No. I started in grade 7. So let's see. How it's 11 years.
A minute.
That's not a minute.
No,
that's
not 11 minutes. Not a literal minute.
So it's been 11 years. There's a few things I've definitely picked up along the way.
Yeah.
There's so many things. Also the amount of compression I put on stuff is absurd. He's like, I'm like, he'll be tinkering with something, let's put some compression and let's add some reverb.
It's not everything needs compression.
But he's
like, add some compression.
No, but then he's like, oh, it sounds nice.
Is this just music nerd stuff we shouldn't be talking about?
I mean, it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
What is it? We had a friend of mine. He's a rapper, and he has a song on Spotify, and it's all over the place. And it actually blew up, the song, when he released it. He's working on new stuff, and we had him on, but the conversation at hand was nothing to do with music.
Yeah, it just got really deep.
It got so deep, and I was like I think we just said 5 things the entire episode.
Yeah, because I was just listening and just go.
You were just
it was so motivational. I'm just damn.
You're oh, we need to put some inspirational music in the background.
Yeah, with some motivation.
I was already thinking Nate, but
no, but
it doesn't.
No, all the time he'll be saying something write that down, that's a good lyric. And he'll be
bars.
No, honestly, every now and then we'll be having a conversation write that down, that's a good lyric.
We should write a song just off that episode.
There you go.
Sample.
Just sample him speaking.
Sample him speaking.
I mean, technically it's ours anyway.
Oh yeah. That's
true. Yeah, we own it.
Unless you guys claim me.
I'm gonna claim you right now. I want that ad.
Let me get the lawyer on the.
Yeah.
No, we're our own production company.
Yeah.
That has no production value.
T.L.B.P. standing for Two Latin Brothers Production.
Oh, I know it's not, but it could be.
We're thinking about
a work
in progress.
It's a work in progress.
Expand
new
horizons.
The thing is, we're not supposed to be exposing this.
Okay, guys, the story behind 518.
We're not supposed to be talking
changing
about
the
this
subject.
So
518. Literally the most stereotypical, you could guess the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's I broke up with my girlfriend, cried, went home, and made the song that turns out to be the most popular. It's like Taylor Swift. That's exactly what it is.
I mean, with one minor caveat, she knew he were trouble before,
No, see, the thing is, after he told me the story about 518, I'm like, I walked up to his girlfriend.
Yeah, because the girlfriend in that story is I broke up with her and then I go back together with her.
Yeah.
So I have to
so what I literally did was I walked up to her. I'm like, can you break up with him? I need a new hit.
I need more good music.
I'm like, I need a new hit. Can you just
break his heart?
I literally crush it.
The craziest you should just be crazy setup, get pictures of her with somebody else, making out.
Oh yeah.
Just the most distraught way.
Oh my gosh.
Just
You're gonna hate April.
Just
April 1st.
Just
excuse me. I'm really bad at it.
Honestly, I kind of want to leave it raw now. No, I'm just joking.
No, it'll be I feel there are many things that one can find in a dark place, I guess. But you know what's interesting? The most inspiration I've ever had has literally been walking in the rain, getting drenched in the rain.
Yeah, go for walks in the rain. Great inspiration.
I don't like getting wet.
You know what? I felt the same way too. But you know
good.
what?
It feels nice.
Someone told me that it helps cleanse the mind.
I believe that.
And there's just something. Have you ever, like, when when it's raining and you go to sleep and there's that feeling?
518, you hear like that's how I set the atmosphere. You hear a vinyl crackle and you hear rain.
Yeah. So
instantly sad.
Yeah.
Instantly.
No, but like that's all it takes to stimulate you enough. Like just to go walk in the rain and get like literally drenched. So like I've had a few moments where I'll be coming home or whatever and it's like pouring out and I'll be like, I'm gonna go the long way. And then I'll come home and I'll be like, get on my laptop like, oh, this is it.
I can like I'm unless I'm cooking, I'm like a clean freak.
Really?
Then take a shower. Same
That's
effect.
not.
But a warm shower.
There's a writer. He's an epic fantasy writer. He says that all his great stories he came up with them in the shower.
Oh man, takes a lot of showers.
No,
well, he's clean now. His skin smells like soap.
No, he says that he's writing like a series of 10 books, and he's only released 3 of them. And he says that the whole series was like written in his head in the lapse of a 15-minute shower. And I'm like, that is crazy.
How do you come up with a series in 3 minutes or 15 minutes?
Like, and the books are like bricks.
Big, yeah.
Like, I'm like,
just came out with an entirely new world in his mind. He's like, great, I'll come up with the details as I write.
His name's Brandon Sanderson. He has this great story about like how people like have like control over metal and stuff. And then he like it's like I think it's like a trilogy. And then he ended it, and then he like came back to it like a couple of years later. But now it's like in the future where they have guns, and it changed like the story like just blew out of proportion because now you can shoot bullets at people, but they can catch the bullets. So it's like, oh, how did you do it, bro? Bro, how did you?
Why do you need a gun when you can basically send a bullet with your?
No, but that's the thing. Like, no, it's because only certain specific people have this ability, right? Yeah. So like you never know, right? You like so
but you don't know,
right? So the main character just walk around with a shotgun. He's like, bam, and the guy like, oh no, right?
Oh, yeah. Full on Matrix.
It's just Magneto.
Yeah,
it's just like.
No, and then and then you find out that one of the side characters is like a great.
Don't
descendant.
spoil the book.
No, it's not. It's not a spoiler. Because it's like you find out.
Are you really gonna read it,
dude? No. You find out reading his name that he's like a descendant. It's like he's a descendant of like the main character from like the old series. It's just been like centuries, but he's the descendant of that person. You're like, this tie-in is insane.
Where are we going?
It's like, who are you? How did you do? You know, it's like one of those like epic reveal moments. You're like, oh my god, that's how they did it. You know?
Yeah. Wow. It's like watching the Marvel movies. It's like the first movie. Oh, they foreshadowed all these locations. And
no, that was the second Iron Man movie.
Can I ask you a question that's completely off topic?
Sure, go for it.
You're a Star Wars fan?
Sure.
Did you like Rise of Skywalker?
I haven't seen it yet.
What? Did you see it?
No.
Wow. So man, I feel so out of place.
Okay, so
because with every other person I talk to, they either love it or hate it.
Okay, so here's the thing. I haven't seen it yet because one of 2 reasons. One, I was like, I'm not paying to watch another Star Wars movie.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm just going to wait till it's on Disney Plus. I'm not going to lie. Number 2, there are so many things that you hear about these movies every time they come out. Just like, I got to go into it blind. I don't read any reviews. I don't read anything. I don't want to talk about. I don't want to know your opinion because you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going to have a bias if you tell me whether you liked it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I won't say anything.
Because if I like you as a person,
I like the movie. You're gonna go in liking it.
I'm gonna fall into that crowd mentality.
Right. I won't say if I like it or hate it. Then.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Just man, just no one.
That gave me everything. You said like a pair. You sent me an essay. Telepathically.
No one has like one opinion on it.
Of course not.
I know, but like it's so divisive.
But here's the thing.
Like, it's surprisingly divisive.
Okay, look. So J.J. Abrams filmed the first one. The second one wasn't filmed by him.
Rian
then he picked
Johnson,
it up again at the end.
Yeah, and he had to basically incorporate everything that Rian Johnson did.
Exactly. So from the get-go, it was already a sinking ship. So let's be honest. But here we are.
Yeah. Man.
There's nothing we can do about it.
Anyways,
all we can hope is for the DVD release to have a lot of bonus features and maybe more answers to questions.
Oh, I
come out with a part 2, and they're just like, the movie wasn't actually done.
Part 2, and they just get rid of everything they did in the first one.
It's a new movie.
No, it's in a new galaxy, far, far away. Whole new set of characters. It's today, not yesterday, not a long, long time. I love how that's a thing.
They just slightly change everybody's
It's like in a
names.
galaxy far, like long ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Technically, it's in the past, so...
It's all in the past.
It's all in the past.
All of Star
Which
Wars
doesn't make any sense because they're so technologically advanced.
But it's in a galaxy far, far away.
Their minds could be superior.
They're like human,
but they're not alien. They're not. There's
None
no
of them are
planet
human.
called
Don't
Earth.
get me started on Star Wars lore. Don't get me started. I feel like this has been the absolute nerd neck episode.
We've had an episode just full out anime talk.
Yeah, all we talk was anime.
Bro, don't even get me started on anime.
Have you seen the? I'm just joking.
Have you seen the last episode of My Hero? Oh my god!
Oh, it was
so
incredible.
Oh my. Okay, can't get into it now though.
Can I spoil?
Have you seen One Punch Man season 2?
I haven't seen season 2.
Oh my god! You're late to the game.
You're late.
Get on.
I couldn't watch the first season.
Why?
It was just like, I don't know. It's just like I wasn't like super captivated.
You're not the first few episodes. Literally.
I went to like 6.
Really?
And I was just
like halfway.
I don't know.
Wow.
Okay, well, you have to get
the comedy aspect of it.
You have to go into it with a mindset. It's not a normal anime where you're working hard. It just starts off. OP. You've already worked hard. You're OP. It's just comedy now. Sit back, relax, and expect to laugh.
Part of One Punch Man is ruined for me because I used to do parkour, and my parkour instructor, no word of a lie, 1-for-1 looked like Saitama. Like, looked exactly like him. And I was
ripped.
Like, so anytime I watched One Punch Man, I just saw my parkour instructor, and I was like, I don't know if I want this. And so then I don't know. It was just ruined from that point forward.
So he destroyed it for you.
Oh, 100%. And then, like, the dude's ripped.
Yeah.
So, like, it was believable. So I was like, man, I can't do it.
They should have made Saitama, like, really fat. And then he'd just be, like,
but he's
really
still
strong.
One Punch.
Yeah, but he's still One Punch.
Yeah. Super lethargic.
I don't know where this is going.
Man, this has been the episode. Huh? It's been 40 minutes? What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's what happens.
It's not going to.
That's what we like to call the T.L.B.P effect. You know, you walk in here, you're like, oh, it's been like, what, 15 minutes?
Walk in here, everything's short, but...
You literally walk in and time seems to slow down in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
But it's actually been a while.
No, time seems to go faster.
Oh, yeah, time seems to go faster.
Good job, Victor.
My brain is just tired.
Yo, man, I've been at it since 7 a.m. You didn't have school today. You can't complain.
Oh, it was great.
It was great.
It was great. I had my
Actually,
car
funny
stereo.
story. You were saying how you were in your car all day.
Oh, yeah. I was just, like, driving back and forth. Because basically, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, before my car was mine, we had, like, my family had an aftermarket stereo system in there.
Okay.
And then some dude that's very respectable, and I will not say any poor things about, basically went into my car and stole it. except he couldn't use the part that he stole. Because basically, for those that don't know, there's 2 parts to, like, a stereo. Yeah. There's the actual deck, which is basically the part that houses all the electronics. And there's the faceplate, like the part you touch with the volume knob and track skip or whatever. Yeah. He just stole the faceplate.
Forgot the rest.
So if you call the company, and so if I called the company and I was like, hey, I have this deck but no faceplate, they'd be like, no problem, and they'll fix it.
Yeah.
But if you call a company and you're like, hi, I have the faceplate but no deck, they're going to obviously realize you stole it.
Yeah.
Because in what situation do you get in where you only have the faceplate? You don't. So he screwed himself. So he screwed us. And then just screwed himself at the same time. So I had to, once the car was mine, I was like, well, I don't want to just ride around with like a Bluetooth speaker in my car. And so I like bought one, and then there was a whole bunch of issues because basically my car like stereo system has been hot wired. So like I had to bring it to a bunch of places and get it redone. Anyway, so I brought it out somewhere today. They installed it. And as I'm driving home, I'm on the freeway like 2 minutes from my house. I'm like, it's kind of cold in here. And I turn on the heat. Yeah. And then nothing happens. And I'm like, uh-oh. So like, I'm like, it's an old car. It's like 09. I'm like, maybe it's just like an issue right now. So like I park in my driveway. I like get something to eat or something. I'm like, all right, let me go check if my heat's working. So I turn on my car. And I just like kept flicking the knob back and forth. And nothing happened. Like no lights. I was like, okay. And so I called the place and I'm like, hey, I think you broke my heater. And he was like, no way. Like, bring it back. So then I drove, so that's my third time, like, in a 20-minute drive today. So I drove there another 20 minutes. And they're like, oh yeah, we just accidentally unplugged it. So I drove 20 minutes in there for them to pull it in their garage, reach in the back and go, click. And they were like, oh yeah, you're good to go. So then I drove another 20 minutes back and then I drove here.
Okay, so look. So last semester, because I'm in college, I have to pay for school.
Yeah.
And this sounds a lot like my scenario, where I got an email the week before exams. No, this is last year, actually. Last year, I got an email the week before my first exams telling me that I owed the college $1,000.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, wait, what? And they go, yeah, and in Canada, for those who don't know, we have something called OSAP, where the government basically gives you money or they give you a loan so you can go to school. Mm-hmm. They had paid it. They emailed me that they paid it. And then I'm like, so I never worried about it. And then, like, you cannot proceed the next semester if you don't pay it. I was like, okay, well, but I have this email that says it is paid. So then I'm like, okay. And they're like, well, you should talk to them. So I went to go talk to the college. And they tell me it's not an issue on our end. We're going to do an internal investigation. Oh. We're going to find out what happened. I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, I should probably call OSAP because they're about to be investigated. You know what they go? The guy on the phone goes, did you spend the money? And I go, what are you talking about? Like, you guys pay? You know, like, because... So what happens is they pay your schooling, and then whatever's left over, they send to you. You know what they sent to me? They sent me $40.
Did you spend the $40? It's like you're guilty? It's like, it's $40.
No, it's more like...
It says $1,000.
Yeah. I'm like, there's $1,000. Like, right? So they're like, there's $1,000 missing. And they're like, you had to have spent. I'm like, literally the only transaction in my bank account to date is... the transaction of you guys dumping $40 into my bank account, which to be honest isn't even there anymore because you know what? I want a cup of coffee every other day.
It's like, you know what? Because I bought Crunchyroll Premium, all right?
But yeah, no, it was really funny. And then so they're like, we're gonna do an internal investigation. You know what's funny? I never heard back from either side. So there's $1,000. No one knows what happened. I still don't know what happened. So then,
but you're not getting charged for it.
So wait. So then so the college was charging me for it. So then I'm like, I had to talk to like 1 million people, and I was coming and going to the college like crazy the week after my exams because I'm like, I need to get this sorted out. And people are going on vacation now. I'm like, I have to get it. I had to get this sorted like 2 months ago, but I found out like literally 3 days ago because you guys don't know what's going on. And then I finally got in touch with the person in charge of like the financing at the college, and she was like, yeah, no worries. And literally, we were on a phone call, like with someone else, like one of my advisors. And I kid you not, I heard the 3 clicks that changed my life. She literally clicked her mouse 3 times. And that was it. I'm like, you mean to tell me I spent like 48 hours coming and going?
It's like click, click, click. All right, you're not fraudulent anymore.
Just so you could, like, you know, like it was great. I was like, 3 clicks. That's all it took. 3 clicks. They're just like, yep.
It's like it took you this long
to get to me. So,
but it was like, but honestly, like there are things like that. You're just like, what are we doing with our? Like, are you people this bored? Like,
it's just a game to them. Like, we're gonna send them there. They're gonna go over there. We'll see where he stops on his way.
It's like a different version of Hunger Games. Instead of killing people, it's just student loans.
I don't want to be a tribute.
Might as well be Hunger Games.
This is a real world problem. Anyway, so I think we're out of time.
We are out of time here.
Man.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned for part 2.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
We're going to definitely have to do a part 2 at this point.
Yeah, so we'll catch you guys on the next one. You know, as we've said, everything from Outlaw is linked down in the description.
Victor, stop
as
it. You're
always.
making me blush.
It's not like they can see it.
His Instagram will be down there too.
Yeah, his Instagram will be down there too.
Whatever else you want to plug. Is there anything you want to plug?
Any shout outs you want to do?
No, Instagram. I'm everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music.
You want to say? You want to say?
Outlaw. You look up Outlaw, Combustion, Dead on Arrival, because Outlaw is a terrible... You look up Outlaw and there's like 146 results. So it's Outlaw, Dead on Arrival, Outlaw Combustion, Outlaw Up and Away. Outlawed Music.
You know what? I'm just gonna ask for all of this.
I'll give you all the links.
I'm gonna need all of this.
There you go. Go stream my stuff. Give me money.
Who knows? Anyway.
Anyways, everything's always down below or to the left or to the right, wherever you are, you know, go leave us an email, comment. You know, we want to do a Q&A episode one day, hopefully. Yeah. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.